I say it all the time. I have lived in San Antonio my entire life and I absolutely love it here. I've talked about the affordable cost of living, I've talked about the small town feel, I've talked about the amazing views of the Texas Hill Country, the location, the many things to do, and of course there's many things that I haven't even scratched the surface on, and more things that I want to talk about. So that is what this video is going to be all about. San Antonio is my home and it always will be, and I'm about to give you 23 more reasons why you should fall in love with San Antonio too, if you aren't already. But real quick, before we get into point number one, I want to remind you that if you have any questions whatsoever about San Antonio, or if you're even thinking about possibly moving to San Antonio, please do not hesitate to reach out. I am a complete open book whenever it comes to this kind of stuff. I've literally lived here my entire life, like I already said once. I absolutely love it here. I've helped a ton of people just like you move here, and I would be more than happy to do the same with you as well. Whether you're looking to move here in 2 days or 2 years, you could call, text, or email me anytime, day or night. And of course, be sure you check out the rest of this channel and subscribe for more videos just like this one. Point number one, we're going to start strong and come in with some controversy right away. Just like Pedro Pascal said, the Mandalorian himself, he made the comment that San Antonio's tacos are better than Austin, and I 100% agree with him. And it's not just breakfast tacos either. It is the puffy tacos. Puffy tacos, after eating some of San Antonio's puffy tacos, are my go-to Mexican dish at any Mexican restaurant I try. Number two, not only does San Antonio have Fiesta and the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo, some of these suburbs around San Antonio have some pretty heavy hitters when it comes to festivals as well. You got the Luling Watermelon Thump and the Poteet Strawberry Festival. Probably the biggest one is going to be Wurst Fest over in New Braunfels. I mean, just absolutely insane German beer festival. And then you also have a couple really cool Christmas festivals. Up in Bernie, you have Dickens on Main, and then New Braunfels also has Wassail Fest. My family and I check those out quite a bit every single year. Number three is that the San Antonio International Airport is actually super convenient and pretty easy to get through. I mean, especially compared to some of these other bigger airports. I'm sure that most of you have gone through at least once or twice. San Antonio is super quick. I mean, you go in and out really quickly just because it's smaller. They are getting ready to do a big, like, multi-billion-dollar expansion that's going to add 17 gates and I think over 850,000 square feet of terminal space. I will say though, I do consider looking at San Antonio and Austin, just as a side note, comparing rates for those. San Antonio is usually pretty competitive, but sometimes I can get better rates at Austin, so I'll go back and forth with those. But San Antonio is still awesome and by far my favorite airport to travel through. Number four, I am not a huge golfer by any means, and it's partly because I'm so terrible at it, but I do enjoy it. So whenever I get the chance to go, I do go. San Antonio has 2 of the top 12 places to golf in all of Texas based on this list from Golf Digest. TPC San Antonio and the Quarry made that list. TPC San Antonio is also host of the PGA Tour event, the Valero Texas Open, and there are a ton of other communities as well on other great golf courses around San Antonio that are great for just golf course living or golf course retirement communities. Number 5, I got 3 letters for you, H-E-B. H-E-B has been named the #1 grocery store in the entire country for multiple years, and it is really no question in my mind. I have traveled, I've been to the Safeways, I've been to the Publix stores, and H-E-B kind of makes those places look like a gas station. So it's really no comparison at all to me. I mean, H-E-B is where it's at when it comes to grocery stores. Number 6 is something that I've talked about a decent amount, but I'm going to say it again and kind of say a few other things about it. San Antonio being the 7th most populous place in the entire country, most populous city in the entire country, does not feel like it at all. It has that small town feel. You never really feel overwhelmed with people whenever you're here. I mean, whenever I've gone to Dallas and Houston sometimes, it's just like the sheer size and the sheer number of people can just really get to you, but it is never that way in San Antonio. I've never once felt like I was in this huge, massive city that's really as big as it actually is. It's kind of surprising. Number 7, of course, the Mexican food is great, but all the restaurants here are just outstanding. I mean, there are such a huge variety of styles and types of restaurants that you can try. I mean, there's the Texas classics, like some really great barbecue and steakhouse places, but I've literally got a list of like, I think 50 restaurants that I want to try and kind of talk about on my Instagram page that is not even going to be anywhere that I can touch for the rest of my life, I don't think. I mean, it's as soon as I get through those 50, there's going to be 50 more that have opened up. So it's just a never-ending cycle of really great restaurants to try in San Antonio. Number 8, one of the things that I think gets overlooked is the bright, vibrant colors and beauty of the San Antonio Riverwalk. Obviously, the Riverwalk is nice because of all the different things to do down there. That's where the epicenter is, where the downtown San Antonio is, but as you're walking down there, I mean, you got these umbrellas with these bright colors, you got flags everywhere. I mean, just everywhere is so colorful and it's really nice. I mean, and not even just, throughout the year, Christmas, especially with the Christmas lights on the trees down there. And then in St. Patrick's Day, they dye the river green. I mean, so All those different things just make for some really cool, scenery to go with everything else that the Riverwalk has to offer. Number 9, I think, is a big one for a lot of people. There are no toll roads in San Antonio anywhere. And I can tell you from personal experience, I just can't stand driving through Austin. So I use the toll road that goes around Austin. They get my money every time. I'm willing to pay that. Going into Houston, my dad drove one time through Houston, didn't even know he hit a toll road. Gets a $4 bill in the mail. They get sent to my address, mind you, because I'm a junior, so he has my, the same name as me. Somehow it got sent to me. But $4 bill for going through Houston, he didn't even know it. Number 10, I really love the history that comes with San Antonio. I mean, of course you have the Battle of the Alamo. I mean, everybody knows about that. Then you also have the San Antonio Missions. So the San Antonio Missions were established and built in the early 1700s to help Christianize the natives in this area and help establish the northern territory of New Spain for when the Spanish, settlers came in and settled Mexico and all of that. You also have the Hemisphere Park. So Hemisphere Park was the location for the 1968 World's Fair called Hemisphere, hence the name of Hemisphere Park. And the Tower of the Americas was built just for that, specifically for that fair that went through those, I think it was like 6 months back in 1968. Number 11, San Antonio is obviously known for its diverse culture. There is all kinds of different walks of life that run here, but especially the religious diversity. I'm a big Christian man myself, and I'm not shy to hide that at all. But I thought it was really great, this amount of, freedom that San Antonio offers to all these different religions. I mean, obviously we're in America and we have all our freedoms, but everywhere's a little bit different when it comes to this kind of stuff. San Antonio, at the Tricentennial celebration in 2018 to celebrate 300 years of San Antonio as a city, there was 26 different religious leaders present at that ceremony, which is just absolutely insane. I'd say 26 different religions represented, religious leaders from different religions represented at that Tricentennial celebration. Number 12, I am a proud American and I am proud to live in Military City, USA. There is a current estimate of about 159,000 veterans currently living in San Antonio on top of the 80,000 active duty service members that are already here. If that just doesn't scream safety, security, I don't know what else does. Number 13, kind of going with the affordability of San Antonio, there is a variety of different types of homes for literally every budget. I mean, if you can afford and you want to buy a property that is your own instead of renting, you can do it in San Antonio. You can start at, $100,000 condo if that's the case, or, there are some $200,000, low $200,000 homes out there, all the way up to the multi-million mega mansions in the Dominion, $10 million plus dollars. So literally anything and everything in between, every style from colonial to traditional to, farm and ranch, literally anything and everything that you can think of, San Antonio has that option available for you. Number 14 is that some of our major suburbs are far enough away to where, you really feel like you're in a secluded small town, but you're still in an easy commuting distance to San Antonio. I mean, 30, 45 minutes, even an hour if you get really far out there. I mean, Seguin, Bernie, Bulverde, Castroville, all of those are, just have that great, very, very small town feel with it. And it just makes for really, really nice communities in this San Antonio area. Number 15, I love that we don't have to worry about snow on a regular basis. I've heard so many crazy stories this year of, different ski parks in Utah that have over 700 inches of snow. I mean, we went to Colorado in January, and the weekend that we got there, it snowed 14 inches, and learning to drive in that was okay, but I just would not want to deal with it, especially the melting and how nasty it gets afterwards, and just the fact that nobody else knows how to drive in the snow. It's bad enough to try to deal with the drivers in the rain around here, but the snow is something else. And I'll take the one day of crazy lockdown, snow, ice, whatever you want to call it, that we get every year or two, and over that any day. And I'll also take the 105-degree temperatures on a regular basis in the summer every day over any snow. Number 16, I think San Antonio is in a really great spot with its growth. I mean, between 2020 and 2021, San Antonio was the fastest growing city in, well, I say not fastest growing, it added the most amount of people to its city than any other city in the entire country. And I think that growth is really good. I mean, I think it's going to bring more money in to bring in more entertainment options for us. It's going to bring more employers here. It's going to give more money for infrastructure. I mean, all those different things are great for our community. And even though more people isn't necessarily always looked at as a good thing, I personally think it's a really great thing. I think growth is going to happen no matter what, so you might as well be positive about it, look at it from the bright side, and really enjoy the things that it's going to bring to us as a city and as a community as a whole. Number 17, even after the massive growth of the last few years, the median price in San Antonio has gone down just a little bit over the last few months, and that has put us at about 15% below the national average still, even with all that growth that we got over, the 2020 to 2022 markets. Number 18, I don't know about you, but I'm not really too certain on where college education is going to be in the next 15 to 20 years, but I can promise you this, San Antonio has all the options in the world if you want a place that has local colleges, community colleges, and big universities as well. I really like that option for my kids. If they want to stay home, save some money, and live with us while they're going to college, I'm completely cool with that, and San Antonio is a perfect opportunity for that. Number 19, I absolutely love that farming and agriculture is ingrained in our kids at an early age. I mean, just this year, my 4-year-old son did the mutton busting, riding the sheeps over at the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo on the big stage. He loved it, absolutely loved it. We went around the stock show, we did the petting zoos, we looked at all the different cows and the pigs and everything that the animals that the kids were showing over there. And we plan on doing that as well for our kids. And there are so many opportunities around here between local county youth shows and then the San Antonio shows. There are just abundant opportunities for your kids to get involved with agriculture, and I absolutely love that. It's something that is not super common in other places around the country. This is really big in Texas though. Number 20, kind of going along with that small town feel, it is not bad at all driving across town. I mean, just look at this map right here. Going from the far southeast corner of town, I mean, even outside of San Antonio a little ways, from Lavernia all the way to the far northwest corner up to Boerne is only an hour's drive, and that doesn't really change that much with traffic either. Number 21, being a big fan of The Mandalorian, I feel like I had to mention this again. Pedro Pascal, who I just talked about saying San Antonio had better tacos than Austin, has actually roots in San Antonio. He actually moved here as a refugee from Chile back when he was a kid and lived here for a good while and constantly talks about his San Antonio roots. And a lot of people here consider him to be San Antonio born and raised, even though he may have moved out of here before he was too old. But again, saying San Antonio is, the home of Pedro Pascal and The Mandalorian is kind of cool. Number 22 is that there are no major issues with hurricanes at all here. I mean, we are close enough to the coast where it's an easy day trip if you want to, or especially a weekend trip to get down to the coast. I absolutely love Rockport, Port Aransas, and Corpus Christi, but I don't think that I could ever live down there because of the hurricanes. That's just something that I just do not want to deal with. And we're just right far enough away where any big hurricanes that were to come straight at us is gonna, slow down quite a bit by the time it gets here. And we're just gonna get some really heavy rain, maybe some windstorms, but nothing like it would be like if it was closer to the coast and like Houston has to deal with. We're also far enough south to where we don't really have to deal with tornadoes a whole lot. Once every few years, maybe there'll be one that comes through, but it's very rare, very short-lived, and it kind of just helps because of all the hills too. 23, the last thing that I'm going to mention because it is super important, and I've said it a few times, I'm going to say it again, the people here are just unmatched. They're outstanding. The Texas chivalry, the Texas hospitality is going strong in San Antonio. I mean, just when you're in your neighborhood, I'm sure that if you're walking down the street, down the sidewalk, people driving in, they're going to wave at you. Driving down the road, just, some of these side streets, you're going to get people waving at you as they come by. I mean, it's one of those things where you can have a conversation with somebody at the grocery store. I mean, you can, be standing in line at Whataburger and you can talk to them and really, get a good feeling for somebody else and make a new friend just going down the street. I mean, it's one of the few places I think you can do that in Texas. I mean, not saying a few places in Texas, but Texas as a whole being a few places that you can do that. I mean, the Southern hospitality is huge here. We look out for each other. That's what we do here. It's why it's such a tight-knit community, why it feels like more of a small town instead of a big city. There's just so much to love about San Antonio. I could go on and on and on. I mean, really, I honestly could. But do not forget, guys, if you have any questions whatsoever, do not hesitate to reach out. Call me, text me, email me anytime. But if you are looking for more information about San Antonio, hit that little button right there to subscribe. And then also check out this video for the ultimate guide to moving to San Antonio. And until the next video, see you there.